Hello, my dear tribe of amazing and wise women who are curious to learn and develop themselves. So, today I want to share with you really fascinating and very practical tool that I use in my life, and it works for me as an internal and external GPS. It allows me to guide myself throughout events, emotions, thoughts, and I exactly know where I am and where I should be and how can I use that. So I'm introducing you to my whiteboard. Hello, hello. So today I want to share with you uh, a wisdom that is coming from yogic tradition, something that we study in India, or if you go to yoga teacher training course, this is essential. So these are three gunas, and guna it translates from turn it this way. Yeah. So guna translates as quality, and these are qualities or attributes that basically um, make up the whole world. Everything that we see around, everything that is physical, including not physical, like for example, your thoughts, your emotions, your relationship, everything is always substituted from these qualities. These qualities are always present in you, but in different measure and in different volumes and in different, I would say, vibrations. So every minute something is changing. Like, you wake up, you have perfect mood, and then something happens, and towards the end of the day, your mood is completely -10. So something happened. And when you start actually understanding that there is this trinity of things that are triggering you, or you are messing or facing within yourself, you can dissect them and look at them and understand, oh, right now I'm here and I actually want to be there. Or maybe perhaps your situation's asking you to be in a certain state, then you choose to be in that state consciously. So let us look to these three qualities. The first, the most dense or the most material, is called tamas. So tamas is the most low level, it is most material, it is inertia, darkness, stagnation. Okay, so this is what it means. The second one is rajas. Rajas is meaning more action, movement, change. Something is happening. So it's more like power, where there is something really dark. Here it's not that dark anymore. This darkness started moving. And then the highest we have, which is called Sattva. And I really love this word because I'm using it for so many years. For me, word sattva is something like divine and bliss. So sattva means pure, light, joy, harmony, and balance. So these are two, sattva and tamas, they are two complete opposition to each other, and rajas is like a transition between them. So how does it relate to your life? For example, something in life can be very stagnant or inert, something that is impure. Something can be really active. This is where we use our fire, and then there is a state of like harmony. So we are constantly jumping between these, but in each one of us, we have our tendency or patterns to stick to the main. We always experience all three, but if you will start noticing your own pattern, that, for example, maybe in 365 days a year, your state of mind is more rajas, right? So what do you get from there? So I will start giving you example. Let me see my list so I don't forget anything. So I will start from the most subtle, which are thoughts. So thoughts can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. So we say it's like a I forgot this word. Anyway, so sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. When you start understanding that your thoughts are stagnant or very negative, when you're thinking bad about yourself, when you are having heavy thoughts, thoughts that trigger you to be in a victim place, in a place of low self-esteem, self-pity, beating yourself up. So something like constant, like mosaicized state. And then there is another rajas where you constantly push yourself. So your thoughts are running. Somewhere here, you are feeling as if your thought forms are depressing. It's really depressing. And here it's more action, active, which is it might move you to jump from one to another, from one place to another, but it is also unstable place. This is where we're having very strong internal dialogue, that inner chatter that just keeps running. Oh, I want to do that. I want to do this. And you're just like buzzing all the time. So this is state of rajas. And then there is a sattva where is actually, if we speak about thoughts, is like it's more silence. But that silence does not mean you need to shut up, right? It's these moments of like you exhale and you feel there is light at the end of the tunnel, right? So in terms of thoughts, we have tendency to live more in rajas. We fluctuate between rajas and tamas. Maybe I would say, if I don't want to judge for everybody, but globally, yeah, approximately, tamas would take around 50%, and rajas would take around 40%, and maybe only 10% of thoughts are going to be sattvic. So the thing is that if we are constantly thinking this way, we will not be, it's not sustainable. You cannot continue living like that for a while. So after a while of such life, you feel like, oh my God. And this is where we switch to physical. So this was more subtle, which are thoughts and emotions, especially for women, that we are extremely sensitive, and we are, for that fact, we are emoting like masters. So when it comes to body, so the subtle level has became so intense that it had to manifest itself on the physical plane. So tamasic thoughts created tamasic body. So you can see that through diseases. It doesn't even have to be diseases. Parasites in the body, this is tamas. Some kind of inflammation, stagnation, constipation. Something related to when something is being rotting, like is trying to, your body is trying to purge it and let it out because it's not potent anymore, but it stays and it rots. So this is stagnation, inertia in the body. So people with such energy, they have very strong body smell. Like if you ever met somebody with a weird body smell, it's not that they have to like stink, and it's not actually sweat. It can be sweat as well, but like you feel there is some kind of toxicity. So this is the manifestation of tamas. Tamas starts big time from digestion, especially liver, because liver manifests as anger, and heart problem because heart, if negative emotions manifest as hatred, so it makes the person very through the physical body. The physical body is not able to process and filter out this toxicity, so after a while the body becomes really sick. Obesity, this is just like a container that contains too much and doesn't let go. So body in rajas is actually, majority of people are in rajas because This is something we are running from morning till evening. We are constantly busy. It's like fire, fire. I need to do this. I need to do that. I have hundreds of tasks and I need to do that. So I have so many ambitions. I need to be successful. I need to be good mother. I need to be good daughter, wife, and etc. And because this level is action, it's fire, very fast, we are getting burnt out. So now Sattva is a state where, oh well, it's everything opposite from what I just said. It's a very pure body. It's a very pure body that is full of oxygen, that is open for breath, that is receiving energy but also letting go, because sometimes when we receive something we don't want to let that go. So it's also capacity that you are free flow. Something came in and you are letting it out. So your digestion, your heartbeat, I'm not saying that you are perfect, but you are feeling that your body is working not only to survive and function on a basic level, but you have more capacity. So let's say you are not just working and taking care of your family, you also have energy to invest time and energy in your growth, in art, in music, in self-development, in spirituality, and you just feel that your body as a container is open to understand more beyond the obvious. Okay, now what constitutes our body? Of course, food. Now, food, this is the best thing that I use for myself. So my food is more, I would say 70% sattvic and 30% rajas. So I'm sometimes jumping. So what food can be tamasic? Alcohol, meat, red meat, like also poultry, like chicken, all of this, which is containing the fact of, so I don't want to offend anyone here who is eating meat, okay? But this information that I'm going to say now is transmitted through yoga philosophy. So in yoga philosophy, there is a term, as you know, which is karma. So karma of those who actually kill animals and then sell animals and then prepare animals and eat animals is tamasic. But yoga also says that according to where you live, according to your karma of your birth, you have rights to choose. So let's say people in Siberia, they will not eat fruits and vegetables, right? They will eat meat because otherwise they cannot survive. So for them, it's not tamas. For them, for the fact of their birth and their karma, they are allowed. But also what can be there, what can be here? So alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, most of today's wheat, like bread, because bread actually used to be so sattvic, like it was a holy ritual to make bread. But today bread became like a massive production of something that people are actually really getting sick of. So wheat or gluten as well. Now Rajas has bigger menu. It's mostly what we eat. So it's everything spicy that stirs up your internal fire. Spicy, all these strong flavors. So when you feeling like your food is too bland, like you want to spice it up, you want to put some ketchup, you want to put some mayonnaise and garlic and mustard. Oh, by the way, garlic and onions are also between Rajas and Tamas. So Rajas also can be fish, can be nightshades vegetables, which are potatoes, tomatoes, and eggplant, because they bring inflammation. So that food that stirs up inflammation in your body, which when you are inflamed, can you imagine that, okay, if it's not sickness, but you ate something that is like coffee, actually, this is perfect. So you jump and you start running. In other words, you are running by using or overusing your adrenal glands, fatigue, overuse of adrenal glands, which secrete stress hormone, adrenaline and cortisol. So these kind of foods that make you harder to fall asleep, harder to wake up early in the morning, because your food will definitely affect that energy that you are carrying throughout the day. So after 6, 7 p.m., if you're feeling completely tired, even sometimes people after lunch, they're feeling so tired, it means that your food contains too much of rajas. Coffee, black tea, spicy nightshades, I said, some of grains contain, like rice is actually rajas. Also rice does not digest very well. It stays more bloated. So if you are cooking that, you need to really soak it like overnight. So what is sattva? Of course, vegetables and fruits. Vegetables and fruits and grains, and it doesn't have to be raw, but it's everything that is, I would say, good for anyone, right? So it's easy to digest. It's you eat like vegetables, and after 4 hours, it already digested very easily. While meat takes around 12 hours, which is tamas. That's why it's tamas. So you can imagine that meat is sitting somewhere where it's 90 degrees of plus for 12 hours. What's going to happen to such meat? So that's why our intestines, due to their length, which is not as short as predators, for example, animals, our intestines are very long. When we digest meat out, it actually, parts of it stays and just absorbs into the cell. So that's why it become stagnant. So people who are eating meat, they are feeling more like heavy. So sometimes if you're even eating meat, you can give yourself a break. Like let's say maybe 3, 5 days a week of the month, it will be your detox. And if you put that on a basely regular level, then your body will receive this medicine of detoxing itself. Now the funny thing, the trick here, the main thing that I love about these three gunas is that if I eat just fruits and vegetables, it doesn't mean that it's always sattva. How does it change? So let's say apple. Apple is very pure, very clean, and it's pure sattva. But if I eat 5 apples in a row, I'm dropping here. If I eat 10 apples, I'm dropping here, and perhaps I'm gonna have diarrhea. So if something, sattva, it means not only pure in terms of, okay, this is my sattvic food, and now I'm going to stuff it into myself and be obsessed with that. It's also what kind of intention and thought forms you are having. So, for example, if you are vegetarian, vegan, and eating very healthy, and you're really taking care of your body, but you are judging others who are eating meat, then sorry, your sattvic diet, your pure diet becomes rajas, which is not good, and tamas, very, very dark. So we combine thoughts, emotions, and the material level. So if you are eating, or sometimes, there are these cases in India or around the world, like somebody who is really pure is sometimes allowed to eat meat, and it does not count as tamas for this person, because the gratitude, the attitude, and the thoughts and intention of engaging with that food for that person is so pure and so transparent that it transmits straight away up to a higher level of frequency. Now, so if you are doing something in a very healthy, very positive, very pure way in terms of actions, but your thoughts behind are not pure, or you are forcing yourself to do that, or you are forcing yourself to be healthy. This is violence and it drops to tamas. So, tamas is also violence. Now, in terms of relationship, this is very, very mm, real. So you can be in a relationship. In the beginning, of course, it's always amazing and beautiful. But then, with experience of living together, you can see there is some new dynamics happening. So most of the couples, they are staying in rajas, and they of course fluctuate all the time. Even during the day, you fluctuate between the three levels. You drop and then you rise, you drop and then you rise. But it's important to recognize that there is a lot of expectations, or like saying just I love you sometimes is like I love you, and you are waiting. So your words have agenda behind. You are saying I love you to somebody in order to receive something back, that love back. So when you start seeing those patterns, like what are you giving to the person, what are you sharing here, and what are you receiving? Now there is a difference between sharing and taking. So sharing is something which I have abundance, and it's beautiful. And I have so much that I'm just naturally sharing. But, oh, I messed it up. Opposite way. So sharing and giving, okay? Sharing and giving. Sharing is something, yes, is abundance, and I'm giving and I'm sharing it. So it's a natural process that overflows from me. But giving is take it. Take it now. I'm giving you my life. Why don't you take it? Now, right now, marry me, be with me, love me, accept me, or whatever. So you are like pushing it to take it. Now, the other side is receiving. So, receiving is when you are sitting in a certain place and things come to you. You are just with open hands and they just appear in your palms. This is how you receive. But there is another negative form, which is taking. Taking means I'm going to go and take it. So it's almost like stealing. So there is a difference between high is sharing and receiving, and low is taking and giving. Many times we say that we share, but we actually take. So it's a masked action. Now, uh, what else can be in this state? So places, there are places where the energy is frequency is really pure and high, and you just come there and it's like a place of power where you feel recharged. Like for me, this is Bali. It's such a sattvic place, but of course inside it has rajas and tamas, like people are polluting. There is some unfairness as well. Women are suppressed, like it's everywhere. But in general, Bali for me is like Sattva. If I would call which place for me is Rajas, Rajas for me is, I think, India. Because it's like it has so many actions, and your senses are constantly being alert. They're constantly being buzzed. If I would call Tamas, perhaps I would call places like Middle East. For me, is Tamas is a place where I feel hypocrisy. Um, I feel there is violence in the air, and there is so much pressure on women, and like underestimation of women and unvalue and all of this. So these are the places. And sometimes you enter someone's house and you can feel right away, this is such a nice vibe here, right? So it is for the place, it's for the nature as well. Even nature has its state. So the highest state of sattvic place in nature is mountains. It's even places where it's so high where we are not always able to reach. And you know that oxygen there is most pure. So places where oxygen is the most pure and subtle that you even feel dizzy. And places like swam, some places of really hot weather like desert, they can be between rajas and tamas. Yeah. So the main thing is to understand that you are constantly living in a world where these three qualities are in a dance, in a constant dance, and they actually empower each other. So you drop down and then slowly you rise, you start moving and understanding, and then suddenly you are clear, you have that moment of aha and like opening. But also remembering that you want to strive for alignment. Alignment means if you are willing to have external results on a sattvic level, perhaps you can start doing thoughts, speech, and actions. These three levels need to align. You can fluctuate and you are allowed, actually, it's not, if you will force yourself to be in sattvic, you will drop very fast to tamas. This is how it is trendy in spiritual development world, when people suddenly they jump into all of these sources of like workshops and self-development, too many books, too many courses, too much of everything, and it feels like euphoria, amazing, amazing, and then after a while it drops down and the person feels like, I don't want to open any book, I just want to vomit and all this, I'm sick and tired of it. So knowing the measure, because sattva is never taken a lot. Sattva is very humble, knowing your measure, taking a little bit here, pausing, a little bit here, pausing. So you are knowing how and when is enough. Now, what you want to do is to start aligning your thoughts in one line, your thoughts, your speech, and your actions in one line. So your thoughts, they create speech, and thoughts and speech, they're almost the same, because the internal dialogue is the realm of thoughts and the speech as well. It's how you talk to yourself. How you talk to yourself, you will never be able to hide from others, like how you talk to others. And we women, we have tendency to say something suddenly and then think like, why did I say that? Oh, I didn't mean to say that. That was not intentional, you know. So it's something where if you find yourself talking this way, that most of the time you are saying something you didn't mean to, or you are regretting what you said and you wish you said that, you are somewhere here. Because sattva is a kind of speech when you take a pause and there are gaps between your words, there are gaps between your thoughts. And those gaps is a place where you inhale and exhale. And you take a pause and you understand that right now you said three words about something and you can redirect yourself because situation is different. So you want to start aligning yourself and understanding, where are you? Are you in stagnation and resistance, or are you running on fire and forcing yourself of too much actions, or are you in a state where it's clear, it's crystal clear, it's balanced, right? So balancing, I would say balancing the awareness of thoughts, speech, and actions. Now, when this aligns, it goes to body. So the body is the final, it's like a screen. So if you meet somebody who is really for many years or for a while is doing self-development work, visiting counselors, visiting coaches, and studying, but health is not in good state, all of this work is for nothing. It means that this person is not actually doing the real work. So the actions and everything external look like sattvic, but the body is in tamas, which means that the real thoughts inside the most subtle level is not in sattva, it's in tamas as well. So the body does not ever lie. And that's why I really love somatic work with physical realm. This is the only way we can heal our trauma or our emotional state is through the body. That's why I do not believe just in talk therapy, like when you go to counselor and you sit in front and you just talk about your wounds or your trauma, and then you leave and you feel relief. This gives you a temporary, elusive feeling that something moved. Everything that you've been talked out, the ideas, the beliefs, the archive of information drops back down and it will manifest later in another form. That's why few of my clients or few of my friends were telling me that they visited counselor for so many years. It really felt like helping, but they're still not resolving something. So resolving happens only then when you address the body, and the body will show you if you are actually in sattva or in rajas or in tamas. So this is a navigation system, or the GPS that I call it, actually SRT, that really helped me in my life, and I hope this was something for you to think of, something for you to analyze and start striving for, and understanding actually where are you, and are you aligned, or your thoughts are there, speech is here, and actions is third, and body is completely messed. So can you imagine how this structure looks like? Actually, on somatic level, for this reason, people have spine problems, because when the disc dislocate and spine goes to scoliosis or something, it means there is very strong disagreement or opposition in the energy, which from being in one line just moved away and slided. So this is where you can start seeing what is happening in your body first, from the most gross, from the most material. What are your actions? So we are scrolling back. You cannot start from your thoughts. It's impossible to change your thoughts. You need to start from body. You check in with the body. You understand what is happening. Thank you, Valentina. Then you are going to see, okay, what kind of actions did I take that right now my liver is inflamed? Or what kind of actions did I take that my menstrual cycle is so overwhelming or in mess? Or what actions did I take to, even with my relationship, so everything physical. You take those actions and then you see what do you speak, because we are not aware that violent communication is mostly happening against this me. Yeah. And then you can understand that this all was fed by thoughts. Yes. So I wish you very sattvic day or night wherever you are. It's almost 7 on my side. And thank you so much for joining, for listening. Throw your questions, throw your if it resonated, if you disagree, if you agree, anything that you wish. And I will be, as usually, from time to time when I feel like, yeah, I'm ready, I'm going to be jumping in and sharing some nice things with you. Thank you. Blessings.